Multiple winter storms are barreling toward the eastern United States right now, and what I'm about to show you will change how you prepare for this week. 3 separate snow systems in 7 days. Are you ready for what's coming? Right now, temperatures have plunged to minus 15 degrees Fahrenheit across the upper Midwest. That's 32 degrees below freezing, and this Arctic blast is just getting started. Here's what nobody's telling you. The richest snow areas are about to get even richer, while some of you who've been waiting all winter might finally see your chance. But here's the catch. You need to know exactly when and where to look. Stay with me, because at the 3-minute mark, I'll reveal which neighborhoods could see 6 inches or more in the next 24 hours. Let me show you something shocking on the European model. Over the next 10 days, we're tracking not 1, not 2, but multiple Alberta clippers racing across the Great Lakes. These fast-moving systems are like conveyor belts of snow, and they're already in motion. The current storm, it's dumping snow right now across West Virginia and Virginia. Winter storm warnings are posted. We're talking about a legitimate winter event unfolding as I speak. But wait, there's more. At the 2-minute 30-second mark, I'll show you the exact timeline for when this coastal low phases with Arctic air and why that matters for your commute tomorrow. Temperature check. Wisconsin woke up to single digits this morning. Michigan? Same story. Minnesota? Even colder. The interior Northeast is seeing temperatures that haven't been this low in weeks. And folks, that cold air is marching south and east like an unstoppable army. Here's the question everyone's asking. Who gets buried and who gets bypassed? The answer might surprise you, and I'll give you the full breakdown at the 5-minute mark. But first, let me show you what's happening right this second. Snow is falling heavily across portions of West Virginia. It's snowing in much of Virginia. The mountains of North Carolina are getting hit. And here's the kicker. Greensboro and Raleigh could see their first accumulating snow of the season today. Louisville and Huntington are in the mix too. The trough parked over the eastern United States has created a corridor of lift over the Carolinas and Virginia. That's meteorologists speak for snow machine. And it's cranking right now. So where do we go from here? Who sees the highest totals? Buckle up, because the numbers are about to get intense. If you're north of Interstate 40, your chances of significant snow just skyrocketed. South of Interstate 40, you're looking at rain, maybe some ice pellets, but probably not much accumulation. The magic line is Interstate 40, and it's the difference between a winter wonderland and just another rainy Monday. Southern and central Virginia, this is your jackpot zone. 3 to 6 inches of snow before this storm exits. That's enough to paralyze roads, cancel schools, and create treacherous travel conditions. Let me time this out for you, second by second. At 11 a.m. Eastern, which is probably right about now for many of you, we've got mostly rain south of Interstate 40. It's a rain, snow, sleet cocktail. Nothing pretty about it. But north of Interstate 40? Pure snow. Boone is getting hammered. Winston-Salem is transitioning to snow. The Greensboro area will see at least a burst of accumulation. Virginia, outside of Virginia Beach in the Chesapeake region, this is an all-snow event. No mixing, no rain, just straight-up winter weather. Areas farther east will eventually see snow, but they're starting as rain first. By this afternoon, watch what happens. The cold air catches up to the coastal low. We get this phasing of energy, an upper-level shortwave merging with coastal energy already in place. And boom, what was rain transforms into moderate wet snowfall. Raleigh Metro, especially east and north of the city, you're in for a treat. Virginia Beach into the Chesapeake, snow is coming your way. Much of Virginia south of the DC metro area will see accumulating snow today. And here's a prediction I'm willing to stake my reputation on. Northeastern North Carolina and southeastern Virginia might see sneakier higher totals than current forecasts suggest. By 7 p.m. tonight, it's still snowing into northeastern North Carolina and southeastern Virginia. This is an area to watch closely, very closely. Overnight, things start to fizzle out into flurries. By 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. tomorrow morning, the worst is over. But the impact will linger. Now, the moment you've been waiting for, the 5-minute mark. Let me show you the exact snowfall totals from the National Weather Service. Remember, these forecasts were issued at 7 a.m. Eastern, so subtract anything you've already received. The high country of North Carolina and Central Virginia, that's your bullseye. Roanoke could see 3 to 5 inches. Richmond, same range. Some higher terrain locations might push 3 to 6 inches. Move north toward Harrisonburg and Charlottesville, you're looking at 2 to 4 inches. Still significant, still disruptive. But here's where I'm going off script. Virginia Beach down into Greenville and Raleigh, the official forecast shows a dusting to maybe 2 inches. I think that's too conservative. When we get this type of energy phasing, this corridor often overperforms. Watch for higher end totals here. Greensboro will probably see a dusting to an inch in the best case scenario. South of Interstate 40, you're hoping for what I call white rain. Frozen precipitation that doesn't stick. The HRR model bumps up totals in the Richmond, Raleigh, Greenville corridor. The GFS model is a bit more conservative. The NAM model splits the difference. When models disagree like this, we watch the radar closely and adjust in real time. Here's something most forecasters won't tell you. Percentile spreads are huge right now. Some model runs show 30-degree highs for this coming Sunday in Charlotte. Others show 50 degrees. That's a 20-degree spread in possibilities. Uncertainty is high, but one thing is certain, it will get cold. And now, the part you've been waiting for since I mentioned it earlier. The next snow systems, plural. Multiple storms lined up like dominoes, ready to fall. Wednesday evening, our first Alberta Clipper slides through. This fast-moving system targets the interior Northeast and Midwest. Not a blockbuster, but 1 to 3 inches for many. The center of the low tracks up the St. Lawrence River Valley into Canada. Thursday brings lake effect snow. Heavy lake effect snow. If you live downwind of the Great Lakes, you know what this means. Localized bands of intense snowfall. Some areas could see half a foot or more in just a few hours. Thursday into Friday, here comes the next Clipper system with another surge of Arctic air. How far south does it penetrate? That's the million-dollar question. Current data shows a good band of snow into Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, and Virginia. D.C. and Baltimore might see accumulation Friday into Saturday. Philadelphia is on the northern edge, fighting for enough cold air. But here's the issue. These Clipper systems struggle to transfer energy all the way to the coast. They grab moisture from the Great Lakes but often dry out before reaching the Atlantic seaboard. Unless, and this is a big unless, they can phase with moisture from the Atlantic. Some ensemble members show this happening. Most don't. Right now, coastal areas have only a 20 to 30% chance of significant accumulation from this system. Let me show you the 24-hour probability maps. Today, obviously very high probabilities across Virginia, West Virginia, and northern North Carolina. No surprise there. The Clipper systems I mentioned? Moderate probabilities across the Midwest and Great Lakes. Lake effect zones light up like Christmas trees on these probability maps. Then comes the Friday-Saturday system. This one has bigger question marks. Ensemble data shows a strong signal from North Dakota through Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, even toward Louisville. But as you push into the mid-Atlantic, the signal weakens. Lake effect is likely. Northwest flow snow is likely. Coastal development, less certain. Here's the harsh meteorological reality. We've been stuck in a very transient pattern. These pieces of energy fly through quickly, which means the ceiling for snowfall totals is limited. Systems can only push so far east before running out of moisture unless they tap into Atlantic moisture sources. The 500 millibar pattern tells the story. A deep trough sets up over the northeastern United States by Thursday. Anything on the right-hand side of that trough? That's where we have lift in the atmosphere. That's where upper-level divergence creates rising motion. Right along the coastline, that often means coastal storm potential. But notice how quickly this pattern forms and then exits. We have zero blocking up in Greenland. Zero. That allows these shots of cold air to be very transient. We've had an active northern stream track, but it's been all clippers and no coastal bombs. Until we get strong blocking over Greenland, a very negative North Atlantic oscillation, we'll keep seeing these transient systems instead of big, slow-moving coastal storms. The cold air, though? That's guaranteed. Already today, high temperatures are well below average for everyone east of the Mississippi River. Most of us east of the Rockies are feeling this Arctic punch. We get a brief warm-up midweek, very brief. Then here comes the next shot of Arctic air, 10 to 25 degrees below average. That gets reinforced even more by this coming weekend. Morning lows this coming Sunday could be brutal, -10 to -15 degrees Fahrenheit for Fargo and Minneapolis. That's the mean forecast, but remember, this could swing colder or slightly warmer. Charlotte and the Tennessee Valley have warmed up a bit in recent model runs, looking at below average instead of very below average. But the Midwest, Great Lakes, Canada, and northeastern United States, that's where the worst of this Arctic outbreak lands by the weekend. Bundle up, seriously. Now, the big question, will all this cold air bring more snow? Let me walk you through the European model ensembles step by step. Wednesday evening, the clipper I mentioned earlier works through the interior, northeast, and Midwest. It moves out quickly, tracking up toward Canada. Thursday brings widespread lake effect snow. Bands set up downwind of all 5 Great Lakes. This is where snow lovers in Buffalo, Erie, and Cleveland get their fix. Friday, another clipper system dives down with the next batch of cold air. Current data shows snow into Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, and Virginia. It even tries to squeeze some snow into D.C. and Baltimore by Friday into Saturday. Philadelphia might see a few flakes, but the system struggles to fully transfer to the coast. Then another quick clipper, and another. It's like a conveyor belt of fast-moving systems, all limited in their southward and eastward reach because they can't grab enough moisture. The probability of seeing 1 inch of snowfall in 24 hours? Very high today for the areas I've mentioned. The clipper systems show moderate to high probabilities across the Midwest and Great Lakes. The Friday-Saturday system shows good probabilities from the Dakotas through the Ohio Valley, but the Mid-Atlantic signal is muddied. Lake effect dominates there, not widespread synoptic snow. Some ensemble members do try to bring moisture all the way through the Interstate 95 corridor, but they're in the minority. Maybe 20 to 30% of solutions. The highest chances for meaningful snow this coming weekend belong to lake effect and northwest flow snow. Here's what you need to understand. These are not monster snowstorms. These are death by 1,000 cuts. Clipper after clipper, lake effect band after lake effect band. It adds up over time, especially for favored snowbelts. And here's a heads up for next week. We're probably going to catch at least a brief break. The snow train calms down a bit, a brief warm-up arrives. How long will it last? Will it extend through Christmas? Doubtful. In fact, I guarantee the warm-up won't last forever. It's just a matter of when the cold air reloads. Can we get a strong negative North Atlantic oscillation with the next cold push that would slow down the energy and really enhance East Coast snow chances? Time will tell. Let me give you the full 7 to 10 day outlook one more time, start to finish, so you have the complete picture. Today through tonight, our ongoing winter storm impacts Virginia, West Virginia, and parts of North Carolina. 3 to 6 inches for the favored zones. Wednesday, Alberta Clipper number 1 slides through with light to moderate snow for the Great Lakes and interior Northeast. Thursday, lake effect snow dominates. Localized heavy amounts possible downwind of the lakes. Friday into Saturday, Alberta Clipper number 2 brings another round of snow to the Midwest, Great Lakes, and potentially the Mid-Atlantic. This system has more southward reach, but coastal development remains uncertain. Sunday, Arctic air settles in with brutally cold temperatures. Morning lows could challenge records in parts of the upper Midwest. Monday and Tuesday next week, we start to transition. The pattern begins to shift. A brief warm-up is possible, though confidence decreases the farther out we forecast. Beyond that, we'll need to watch for the next pattern change. Cold and snow will return eventually. They always do in winter. The question is timing and intensity. Here's something critical to understand about this entire pattern. We're in what meteorologists call a progressive flow regime. Energy moves quickly from west to east without much blocking to slow it down. That favors frequent light to moderate snow events over blockbuster snowstorms. For a major coastal storm, we need several ingredients. Deep cold air, a strong coastal low, blocking to slow everything down. Right now, we have the cold air. We sometimes get coastal lows, but the blocking? Absent. That's the missing piece. The upper air pattern shows ridging over the North Pacific and troughing over North America. Classic La Niña look, though we're technically in neutral INSO conditions. This pattern typically favors the Pacific Northwest for heavy precipitation and keeps the eastern U.S. in a battle zone between cold and mild air. Watch the trend over the next week. If the Greenland block starts to build, our snow potential increases dramatically for the East Coast. If it remains absent, we stick with clippers and lake effect. Temperature-wise, brace yourself. Even with the brief midweek warm-up, we're trending colder than average for most of the period. Morning lows will be the story. Teens and 20s become common across the mid-Atlantic. Single digits and below zero readings dominate the upper Midwest and Great Lakes. Wind chill will be a factor too. When you combine these low temperatures with breezy northwest winds, wind chills could drop into dangerous territory. Frostbite can occur in less than 30 minutes with wind chills below -20 degrees Fahrenheit. Exposed skin is at risk. Outdoor activities should be limited. For snow lovers, this is what you've been waiting for. After a slow start to winter, we're finally getting into a sustained cold and snowy pattern. It might not produce one giant storm, but the cumulative effect of multiple systems will build snowpack across the snowbelt. For those hoping to avoid snow, you'll find little relief over the next week. Even the brief warm-up won't erase the snowpack already on the ground. Roads will remain slushy, parking lots will stay messy. Winter has arrived with authority. Travel impacts will be significant throughout the period. Today's storm creates hazardous conditions across Virginia and West Virginia. Wednesday's clipper affects the Great Lakes and Northeast. Thursday's lake effect targets the usual suspects. Friday's system spreads impacts from the Midwest into the Mid-Atlantic. If you have travel plans this week, build in extra time. Check road conditions before you leave. Keep an emergency kit in your vehicle. Winter weather can deteriorate quickly, especially with these fast-moving systems. For those in snow removal businesses, you're about to get busy. Multiple events mean multiple plowings. Salt supplies should be checked. Equipment should be ready to go at a moment's notice. The agricultural impact can't be ignored either. Livestock need protection from extreme cold. Water sources can freeze. Farmers and ranchers in affected areas should take precautions now. Power outages are possible, especially with wet, heavy snow in areas that see accumulation. Have flashlights ready. Check your battery supplies. Know where your candles are stored. Schools will likely face closures or delays, particularly in areas receiving significant snow today and Friday. Parents should have backup childcare plans ready. For winter sports enthusiasts, this is prime time. Ski resorts across the Northeast and Upper Midwest will see natural snow accumulation supplementing their snowmaking efforts. Conditions will be excellent by the weekend. Let's talk about the lake effect component in more detail. When Arctic air flows over the relatively warm Great Lakes, it creates instability. The air picks up moisture and heat from the lake surface. As it reaches the downwind shore, it rises, condenses, and produces heavy snow bands. These bands can be incredibly narrow, sometimes only a few miles wide, but incredibly intense. Snowfall rates can exceed 2 inches per hour. Visibility drops to near zero. Travel becomes impossible within the bands. Classic lake effect setups require several conditions. A temperature difference between the lake surface and the air of at least 20 degrees Fahrenheit. A fetch, or distance of travel across the lake, of at least 60 miles. And wind direction that's perpendicular to the long axis of the lake. This week, all those conditions align perfectly. Lake surface temperatures remain in the 40s. Air temperatures will drop into the teens and single digits. The wind direction will be northwest, ideal for lake effect off Lakes Erie and Ontario especially. Buffalo could see significant accumulation from lake effect this week. The same goes for Erie, Pennsylvania, and areas east of Cleveland. The Tug Hill Plateau in New York, a notorious lake effect hotspot, could measure snowfall in feet, not inches, by week's end. For the coastal areas hoping for snow, the Friday-Saturday system remains your best chance, but it's far from guaranteed. The timing has to be perfect. The coastal low has to develop at just the right moment and location. The cold air has to be in place. Current ensemble data suggests only a 20 to 30% chance of this coming together. Those aren't terrible odds, but they're not great either. It's worth watching, but don't bet the farm on it. What about beyond this week? Long-range models hint at a possible pattern change around December 18th to 20th. The cold air may retreat temporarily. A ridge could build over the eastern U.S. Temperatures could surge above average for a few days. But that's 2 weeks away. Long-range forecasts are notoriously uncertain. What looks likely today might completely change tomorrow. The key is monitoring trends, not fixating on specific details. One thing seems increasingly likely, though. This winter will feature an active storm track. We might not get monster storms, but we'll get plenty of smaller systems. Death by 1,000 cuts, as I mentioned earlier. Over time, that adds up. Seasonal snowfall totals could end up near or above average for many locations, even without any single blockbuster storm. Consistency matters. Frequent light to moderate events can produce impressive seasonal totals. The pattern also favors temperature volatility, cold blasts followed by brief warm-ups, rinse and repeat. This is classic winter in a progressive flow regime. It keeps everyone on their toes. For long-range planners, particularly those with holiday travel coming up, this pattern bears watching. The week before Christmas could see another cold snap if current trends hold. That's still speculative, but it's on the radar. Energy costs will likely spike this week. Heating demand will surge as temperatures plummet. Natural gas and electricity usage will increase. If you're on a tight budget, be prepared for higher utility bills this month. The economic impact of winter weather extends beyond heating costs. Snow removal is expensive for municipalities. Road salt supplies get depleted. Overtime costs for public works departments add up quickly. Businesses face impacts too. Retail traffic drops when snow falls. Delivery services get delayed. Restaurants see fewer customers. The economic ripple effect of sustained winter weather is significant. But there are winners too. Ski resorts, as I mentioned, benefit enormously. Snowplow services stay busy. Winter equipment retailers see increased sales. Grocery stores often see a bump in business before storms hit. The ecological impact is worth noting as well. Snowpack is crucial for spring water supplies. Areas that rely on snowmelt for their water resources need winters like this. A deep, sustained snowpack sets up better conditions for spring and summer. Wildlife adapts to winter weather, but extreme cold can stress animal populations. Birds rely on feeders more heavily. Deer seek shelter in dense cover. Predators take advantage of struggling prey. For those who track climate patterns, this active winter comes after several relatively mild winters in parts of the country. It's a reminder that year-to-year variability remains high, even as long-term trends show warming. One winter of heavy snow doesn't negate decades of climate data, but it does show that natural variability still produces old-fashioned winters with plenty of cold and snow. The question I keep getting asked, is this winter a harbinger of things to come, or an outlier? The honest answer is we won't know for months or even years. One season doesn't make a trend. We need to see how the rest of winter plays out and how next winter compares. What we can say is this winter is featuring a pattern conducive to cold and snow across much of the eastern United States. That's good news for winter weather enthusiasts and bad news for those who prefer mild conditions. As we head into the heart of winter, the next 6 to 8 weeks will be crucial. December, January, and early February typically produce the coldest temperatures and heaviest snowfalls. This year appears to be following that script. Preparation is key. Stock up on essentials now. Get your snow removal equipment ready. Service your heating system. Check your home's insulation. Small steps now can prevent big problems later. For those in areas facing today's winter storm, stay off the roads if possible. If you must travel, go slowly, leave extra space between vehicles, and keep your gas tank at least half full. For those awaiting the next systems, don't let your guard down. Just because today's storm misses you doesn't mean the next one will. Friday's system has a broader reach. Be ready. The bottom line? Winter is here. It's here with authority. Multiple snow systems over the next week will impact millions of people. Arctic air will send temperatures plummeting. Travel will be hazardous at times. But for those who love winter weather, this is what you've been waiting for. Embrace it. Enjoy it. Build a snowman. Go sledding. Appreciate the beauty of a fresh snowfall. For those who dread winter, hang in there. Spring always comes eventually. But for now, winter has the stage, and it plans to put on quite a show. Next time, I'll have updated forecasts on all these systems. We'll dive deeper into the Friday-Saturday coastal potential. I'll show you the latest model runs and what they're suggesting for Christmas week. The pattern is active. The cold is here. The snow is falling. And there's more where that came from. Stay safe out there, stay warm, and if you're in the snow zone today, enjoy it while it lasts. Tag your snow photos on social media. I love seeing what you're experiencing. This is winter weather at its finest. Multiple storms, Arctic cold, lake effect snow, coastal potential. It's all happening right now. Keep watching the forecasts. Conditions can change quickly. What looks like rain today might be snow tomorrow. What looks like a miss could become a hit. The atmosphere is dynamic, it's fluid, it's constantly evolving. That's what makes weather forecasting both challenging and exciting. And with that, we've covered everything you need to know about the next 7 to 10 days. Today's storm is ongoing. Wednesday brings a clipper. Thursday features lake effect. Friday brings another clipper with coastal potential. The weekend turns brutally cold. And next week, we might catch a brief break. It's a lot to digest. But you're now armed with the information you need to plan accordingly. Winter weather is serious business, but it's also awe-inspiring. The power of nature on full display. Respect it, prepare for it, and yes, enjoy it when you can. Until next time, that's your complete winter weather breakdown. Stay tuned for updates. Things will change, they always do, and I'll be here to walk you through every twist and turn. The snow train is rolling. All aboard!